Warning! Princess Ava's a dick. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast. Once Upon a Time Rewind, Season 2, Episode 16 and 17, The Miller's Daughter, and welcome to Storybrooke. I'm your host, Dom. Joining me, we have Rachel, Nikki, and Jake. How's it going?
It goes.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely going.
Jake can see the future.
I think all of us have had some kind of ailment this week.
No? Me.
Except for
Well,
you.
I'm doing good, aside from eyes falling out and,
Your teeth are falling out and,
But at least you saw it coming.
he's just like, whatever.
So...
That was so funny. I had to, reflect on life. Oh, my God.
But you should have seen that joke coming, too.
That's why he didn't laugh. It wasn't that funny. Even the first time.
So, must give the usual spoiler warning if you are not caught up to the end of Season 6 of Once Upon a Time. We're probably going to spoil stuff for you. So, turn back now. This is a rewind. This is not us looking at the show for the first time. This is us looking back at the show after we've seen everything. So we will spoil it. That being said, out of these two episodes, The Miller's Daughter and Welcome to Storybrooke, which one was your guys' favorite?
Miller's Daughter, probably. I always liked that episode. I always like looking back at people's origins. And then to pick it up on things.
And this is another fairy tale that they haven't tackled at this point, at the time of the airing of that episode. And it didn't click in my mind that Regina's last name is Mills, Miller's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are certain things about the Miller's Daughter I cannot stand. And it is...
Let me guess, is it the love relationship between Cora and Rumpel?
I wanted...
She wanted to puke?
No, I didn't want to puke. Not anymore. I'm done with that. I don't want to do it anymore.
Nikki's had the flu for the last 2 days. She's puked enough.
Oh, God.
Well, yeah,
I watched
maybe
it and I was
this
like...
is what induced it. And...
No. This is what almost brought it back.
Well, you know what? See, this is what happened with my eyes. See, I had to run through the car wash with my eyes open.
I actually really, really like the next episode, Welcome to Storybrooke, because it's just interesting that Owen and his dad were camping, and then Storybrooke was basically just right on top of them. So
for me, Welcome to Storybrooke is also my favorite because we're now toward the end of Season 2 here, and we're only seeing the first day of the curse for the first time. Going back, something that you never thought we'd see this late into the show. It just shows it, and it's just wow, that's fantastic. We actually get to see how the whole town came into being and everything. It literally just poofed there.
And poor Regina, she was stuck in Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was Groundhog's Day for her.
Except she didn't have all the talents, that dude had, and she just kind of stood as a bitter old lady.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with The Miller's Daughter, in which we get Cora's backstory. It's not very surprising that Cora's father is a drunk.
All fathers seem to be drunks.
Except for David's.
He was a drunk.
He seemed to be a drunk, but he wasn't actually.
Well, no, he was. Just quit.
Yeah.
He quit, yeah. He fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
He fell off the wagon.
You broke Jake on that one, but he won't admit it. But, no.
Sorry. Not sorry.
But Cora's father failed to deliver flour to the castle. He was just taking a nap. He's just resting.
Uh-huh.
which entails Cora to actually bring the flower to the castle herself.
Mm-hmm.
On her way in the door, Princess Ava trips her, humiliates her, and belittles her in front of not only royalty, but everybody else that happens to be in the castle at the time. And I don't believe they were all just servants. I think they did have some guests and stuff. And what I very clearly remember this from the first time watching it, but what I remember not picking up on the first time around was this was actually Snow's mother that did that. Like it, I'm paying attention a lot more now. It's very clear, but I definitely remember the first time through not realizing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either. Like we said when we saw last episode when she corrected Snow, we're like, well, there's a piece in between what she did in this episode and how she became that we're not getting.
Yeah.
And I wish we could get that part. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I mean, with the way that they're changing things, I don't know.
It's less likely with the way they're changing things.
I just choose to believe that she's always been a bitch. She never changed, and she was just putting on a front for Snow.
I don't think so.
But, I'm happy the bitch died. I don't care. I love Cora, okay?
Mm-hmm. So then Cora takes it upon herself to crash the party.
Yeah, but I want to see how the fuck she got past the dam. Who left the gate open? Why is this raggedy-ass woman coming into the party?
See,
I don't think there was invitations.
I have a love-hate relationship with Rose McGowan, who plays Cora, because
young Cora.
Yeah, well, young Cora, yeah. She's great as young Cora. She is badass.
She even looks like the actress who plays old Cora.
Kudos on
yes.
casting for this
Very
damn
good
show.
casting.
Whenever they get young actors to play the main actors, it's like fucking spot on. They have like the same facial structure.
Young Snow.
Yes.
My God.
Yeah. So, but like, I really disliked her. The first time I saw her was in Jawbreaker, which I love that movie. But she's also in Charmed, and I hated her in that. Absolutely hated her. So seeing her again in this, when I first saw her, I was like, oh God, no. Stop it. Stop.
My thought when I first saw her was, dude, quit going to the plastic surgery, honey.
She has had a lot of plastic surgery, but then again...
And she's not that much older, if not younger than me, and that's pretty sad.
She has access to the money.
But still.
I think she was married to Marilyn Manson for a while.
Oh,
no,
shit.
she was engaged to him.
Yes, yeah.
He only married once. He married Dita Von Teese. That was it.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah.
We
So
digress.
the king catches her, says that she stole the dress, made her way in the party. He could smell the straw on her, even pull some straw.
Did you steal that dress from Ava? Because like the bitch, probably didn't even
I don't know where
it
she stole it and why it would have straw on it. That's the part that I don't get. It's like he pulled a piece of straw off of her. But
So she couldn't have stole it because she would have had to
Did she
spend in
make
her house.
Yeah, did she steal it, go home and try it on and like roll in hay before she came to the party?
I feel like she was wearing her rags when she stole it, changed, and she brought some of the straw just happened to tag along.
Logic.
Yeah.
I don't think she stole it. I think it might have been
you.
right. I think it was. We don't know who her mom was.
Was it leftovers from her the story that we get later on about Selena? Because
maybe
this is after Zelina.
Well, people throw, royalty. They just throw their shit, everywhere. They probably threw the dress at a peasant or something, and then she took it.
Well, also, we don't know anything about her mom. It could have been her mom's dress.
That's true.
It could be something.
Like Cinderella.
Yeah, kind of like Cinderella.
Yeah. Just because the king said she stole it doesn't mean she actually stole it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't put it past her to steal a dress.
I don't either.
Yeah. No.
I don't either. But anyway, Cora kind of like makes this offhanded statement as she's stomping out of the castle, saying, "Oh yeah, I could spin straw into gold. Too bad you didn't want to pay attention to me." And he's like, "Oh, really?" And he grabs her and he puts her statement on display for everyone. Says he's gonna lock her in a tower, and if she succeeds, she can marry the prince. If she fails, she dies.
Mm-hmm.
So, we jump into what unknowingly at the time is now the Rumpelstiltskin storyline. This is the storybook for Rumpelstiltskin spinning straw into gold, and you know, and it's just like
Taking firstborn.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing he does.
Which I found, I knowing what we know now, when they said that, and she didn't look fazed at all when he's like, "I'll take your firstborn." I'm like, she already knew. She had him. She had him from day one. She had him from day one. Firstborn. Yeah, exactly. She had him from day one because he obviously didn't know about Zelina, and so I don't think at this time he did, and because he was like, "I'll take your firstborn," and she's like,
"Go ahead,
all right, go ahead, find her," kind of thing. She already had a leg up on him. Well, yeah, later.
Well, I mean, at this point, did she have Zelina? Like, I know she obviously had Zelina before Regina, but I'm saying at this point, did she already have Zelina, or did that happen and then?
Because what happened was she was going to. So when we see her with the flower and how she trips over Princess Ava, after that is when she met King Leopold, who's Snow's dad. And then he tells her that he's engaged to Ava. And so I think it was after that, and after she had Zelina, that's when this party came and like she met Prince Henry.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so she already had one up on Rumpel without him even knowing. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, she's like, "Bitch, please.
But
if you can find her, go ahead."
First viewing, we had no idea.
No, we had no idea.
To be fair, I don't think the writers had any idea at this point either.
No.
Yeah, but like now that we have this,
now,
like, we can like go back and say like, "Oh." That's...
But then again, it could be when you look at the way she agreed to it so fast. She's like, "All right, yeah, you can have a firstborn."
Yep.
I'm not gonna have children.
The thing is, she was so desperate for vengeance. Even then, she didn't give a shit what she was giving up to get what she wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cora's kind of ruthless.
Oh yeah, she totally is. But but now knowing you can say that, she was already like, well, yeah, sure, you can already have her, because I didn't want her.
Mm-hmm. So Rumpel offers to teach her how to turn straw into gold in exchange for her firstborn child.
She said to him, no, like, well, he offered to like just do the whole thing for her.
Right.
But Cora's smart. She's like, no, teach me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then he does teach her how to use raw emotion and anger to wield this magic.
Well, I think that's what turned his crank, is when she said, "Teach me."
Turn his.
He's not.
He literally turning the crank.
Right. He never. So far, he's never had anyone go, "Teach me how to do it." Not do it for me. Teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
And this is really interesting too, because I don't know how Rumpel was so bamboozled at this point, because as Jake is so eloquently pointing out, he's got the powers of the seer. He could see the future, and we know that this has already happened because he even mentions to Cora when she says, "Yeah, all brides wear a snow white dress," and he goes, "Oh, the irony of future events, like if you only knew." So we know he knows about the future at this point. And I understand that the future is convoluted and it's a puzzle piece and you don't understand everything, but he knows that Cora's firstborn child is important. And he's referring to Regina here. He's not alluding to Zelina. He is referring to Regina because of the curse to cast and all that. Zelina, as great of a character she is, in terms of Rumpel's story, for him to say importance, that's not the one he's referring to.
No, not what made me think that he has no idea about Zelina.
Well, see,
not yet, anyways.
When we want to talk about seeing the future and how clairvoyance works, what we want to do is we need to realize that clairvoyance is a gift that, yes, you can see the future, but it's not the definitive future. And what I think, and because I didn't really question Rumpel's powers, or the seer's powers rather, because Like they weren't really that explained. But when we point out these things and when we start thinking about it and going back, that's like when we try to fill in the hole. So I think that Rumpel's powers work as in he can see outcomes, different outcomes of things that are definitely going to happen. He can see the end goal of things, but he can't see the circumstances in which they play out, which is why he was talking about Regina versus Selena. That's why he was training both Regina and Zelina. Because if he definitely knew that Regina was going to be the one to cast the curse, he wouldn't have trained Zelina.
I also feel
he
that,
had a backup.
I also feel that Rumpel sees paths that he wants to see. Because he is selfish in nature, I feel like he unknowingly focuses on the paths and the possible outcomes that he needs to see, rather than everything else on the outside.
His own future. He's looking at his future.
Well, the seer did say, soon enough you will be able to identify what will happen from what may happen. So,
well, I guess
he might. I don't know. I mean, how long? We don't know how long he's had the powers right now, as of now.
I would say a long time, probably. But again,
we don't know certain
things
together.
He met the seer before he was Rumpelstiltskin, the Dark One, and then he regained his powers sometime after Balefire left. We don't know how far that was. That could have been the day before he met Korra. It could have been 400 years before he met Korra. That we don't know.
Exactly.
But again, he knows what's going to happen in the end, but not really the events that are going to happen leading up to it. That's my thought process anyway.
It's kind of the way that was it a seer or an oracle or something that also went to Emma in season 6?
An oracle.
Oracle.
Yeah. So it works the same way as that. Like she saw the final outcome, but not how she got there, and that I think that it works a lot of the same way with Rumpel.
And really, when you have a clairvoyant character, that's really the best way to portray clairvoyance, is because like if you have a character who knows fucking everything, then really
it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. So upon learning how to do this, Korra shows the king, and instantly the prince proposes to her. She's won the prince over.
And Prince Henry,
Prince
I don't know
Henry.
what happened to you, but even your dad knew that you were
worthless. But see, what's funny is that his dad was very ruthless, very much like Korra.
Mm-hmm.
But Henry was very mild-mannered, very meek, very caring kind type of person. And you could tell that by the way he does stuff. So very opposite. So obviously he was raised by his mom. But, they all think that love is weak. And that's where Korra got that from the king. And she passed that down to Regina and blah, blah.
I just love how Rumpel points out, your name's Korra? It sounds like someone breaking glass. And I'm sitting there, as he said that, I'm saying it over in my head, Korra. Like, I'm imagining glass breaking. Like, that's the sound of glass breaking.
As she was pushed through the window.
This is also the episode we see her take her first heart.
Yes.
Yeah. Her own.
Yeah,
We're meant to believe that it's the king's, but she ends up taking her own.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Damn. Hardcore.
Yeah, it was.
And she hasn't had her heart for a long time.
Nope.
Which makes me wonder if she never had her heart when she was raising Regina all those years, how do we know she actually left her? I don't know. Well, apparently she did.
They can do like a semblance of like love. I mean, you could still feel things, just not as strong. You're like, yeah, I care about that person, but you know what? At the same time, I can leave them on the street to die.
It's more of your brain recognizes that you should feel something.
Yeah.
So your brain compensates for it out of logic. That's the way I take it anyway.
She's supposed to, because she's her mom, is supposed to love her, so she's like, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to love her.
Yeah, exactly. So then we flash forward to 9 months later, 10 months later. Regina, at the very least. And Regina's born, and Cora introduces her to the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. And then what happened where... So she obviously married Prince Henry. And this is something that has always bothered me. What happened between then and the time that Regina grew up where they were debunked from their royal status? Because I know
they
Prince
were
Henry was like he was, I don't know, what is
Fifth.
it, like fifth in line?
Fifth
but
in line.
still, would they still be living in the castle? At the very least, be better off than what they were?
I don't know. I want to say that his dad did something.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like maybe his dad took away the allowance, you know.
Or his dad piddled it away or something. We don't know. His dad seemed like the type of
But
person
then
to do
Cora
that.
could just make more gold.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, but then again, if you hear what he said,
focused on power and revenge, though, that I don't think those were a priority to her.
well, when she went and saw the king, she's like, oh, you're counting your loot. He's like, you made us a wealthy, a wealthy town again, basically, or whatever he said. So before they were falling on hard times as it is.
Yeah.
So her doing this made them. So I bet he spent all that what she made and then back down the hole again.
Yeah. Well, they were so far in line too that we know that Ava is still alive at the point in which
Well, she married good.
Yeah, but she's the queen at the point in which Cora's old. So that's what happened. They're not the main royalty. If something happened to Ava, sure.
Well, the thing is, Ava comes from this royal family, which is a completely different one. And Ava married Snow's father, who was, a ruler of a different kingdom. So, royal politics and whatever else. Ava moved up because she married well. Prince Henry didn't, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
But we don't know if they're on the same royalty line, because different lands can have different kings and different queens and stuff like that. So we don't know exactly which royal line he was attached to.
Yep. So that's it for the flashbacks. Then in present day, we see Neil and Henry sailing the Jolly Roger. They bring Rumpel home. We get Cora and Regina kind of wiretapping Snow's phone, which led for really comedic enchanted box statement.
Don't y'all have Cora? A mirror in your office?
Right.
Find people.
I don't know. Sydney wasn't available. So this is where they learn that Rumpel's dying. So this is where we get some interesting information. It's something I didn't remember the first time around. That if Rumpel dies not by the dagger, the magic boils off the dagger, and there is no replacement Dark One. So
can we hold the fuck up?
Right.
Opening my mind eye. How the fuck is Rumpel dying? I mean, I know why he's dying, because, we saw, the last episode. But, literally nothing else can kill this dude.
I think what it is that it started outside the realm of magic. Once he goes over the barrier, he doesn't have the magic of the Dark One.
Yeah, because he did get stabbed in New York.
He's in the land without magic. Magic functions different at that point. There is magic in Storybrooke. When he comes back, he's already poisoned. It's not like he got poisoned as the Dark One with the magic. He's already poisoned, and we know how the poison works, and the poison is untreatable. So,
and also the magic that's in Storybrooke isn't as strong yet. It's still building.
Right, but you have to look. We have two conflicting rules of magic. It's like the unstoppable force hits the unmovable object. You have the unkillable man versus the uncurable poison. And I think the reason why it's still working is because it was applied when he was not the Dark One outside of the world, outside of Storybrooke. And he comes in, and now you have that force of which one wins. And I think it's the poison continues to work.
Well, it's already going through a system.
Yeah, because it's already so far seated in him when he comes back.
I feel like even if he got poisoned in Storybrooke, in Neverland, in the Enchanted Forest, with the Dreamshade, the Nightshade, I'm not sure. Is it Dreamshade or Nightshade?
Dreamshade.
Is it Dreamshade? I still think... I definitely think he still would be affected by it. Just because of the nature of the poison, because it
because,
is a magical
it's hard
thing.
to say. It's hard to say because under the rules of what we learned in season 5 of Once Upon a Time, Emma turned Hook into the Dark One to save his life. So technically, Rumple becoming the Dark One again should save him from the poison.
But
he was never not the Dark One.
Well, see, this is why I question these things. But like, if there, so we now have a way to, and because like I completely forgot about this, but now I realize we have a way to kill the Dark One without having another one.
Right. That's what I found so interesting about this.
Why haven't we revisited this? This is interesting. Can we come back to this, please?
Because that would entail killing Rumpelstiltskin off.
Well, yeah, and that's not a bad thing.
Yes, it is. There's a reason why Rumple is one of the 3 that remained on the cast for this coming season.
It doesn't mean I don't like him.
It doesn't mean you have to. But there's people out there that do. And
but you know what?
The majority of people do.
But it doesn't matter. He could die. He can come back. You know, like this happens all the time. Hook has died, what, like 80 times already? The damn punch card is like gone at this point.
Yeah, they even went to the fucking underworld and got him back. So, I mean, come on. I mean,
we already know that Rumple can not be the Dark One because he's was already not the Dark One, and then he became the Dark One again.
Well, yeah, because bitch, shit that you pulled.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see a new Dark One. Not to say
well, at
that
least
Paul has
if
to
he
die, but I want to see
if he becomes human again and not the Dark One, at least now they have modern medicine. They can fix his foot.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Can't he? I don't think he needs the cane anymore at this point. Like, can't he just heal himself?
I don't know.
Like, why does he still have that thing?
It's his pimp cane.
Oh, is that what this is?
No, I mean, yeah, he does beat
He's a
lot of people
pimp
with it.
A limp. He's a pimp with a limp.
Yeah.
It's like Yoda, who doesn't need his fucking cane.
But as they brace up and Emma puts an invisible chalk barrier around the shop.
Because he couldn't afford to go to the dollar store and get some chalk.
It's magic chalk, though.
Good. No, but I'm talking to the producers here.
No, but it's magic chalk.
They had to make them pretend. I got chalk in my hand.
Yeah, and I think this right here, to be completely honest, I think this is subtle foreshadowing of Neverland. You know, we know now, looking back at this season, there's a lot of subtle hints to Neverland. And pretending in Neverland is a huge thing. That's very big theme.
Yeah, but this isn't pretending. It's just fucking invisible chalk.
Yeah, it's pretending to use the chalk.
No, it's not pretending to use the chalk. It's grabbing a chalk that you can't see. And
okay.
I don't know why.
And how many people draw a line like this?
What is this?
With chalk? I do.
With just like dashes and dashes.
I do.
You're gonna draw
chalk.
a line and just draw a line.
I don't draw straight lines with chalk. Chalk.
Well, no, because there's nothing straight about you. But I'm saying that it kind of annoys me. I just found this weird. That's like, oh, it's invisible chalk because of course it's just this random magic thing that we never return to. Guys, Power Rangers did this so much better than you with the vampire chalk, where they had actual chalk and it looked mystical. How do you fucking make chalk look mystical? I don't know, but Power Rangers did it. So.
They have enough special effects on this show with their terrible green screens that already eat into their budget. They don't need to make magic chalk with special effects.
You could literally buy...
They had no budget to buy chalk.
No, I didn't say to buy chalk. I said special effects.
They had the budget...
No, that's how the magic chalk came about. They had no budget to buy chalk.
So, like, just make it magic chalk.
Just make it magic chalk.
I don't know why this is a big issue.
I don't either. I'm shocked right now that we're spending 5 minutes on invisible chalk.
It's 10 seconds of...
But it didn't work.
That's it.
But it didn't work.
What got me is how quickly Cora burst through that, It's just like...
No, it's basically a little... It's a spell. Like, it's not being cast by someone with a lot of power. It's just a little spell. And that's it. It's got its limited power, and that's why she could break through it.
Well, maybe if you got some real damn chalk, it would have worked.
So while this is going on, Rumple points out to Snow that he needs another blanket. So she opens up the cabinet to get a blanket to find that there's no blanket in there. Instead, there's the dark candle that she wanted to use on her mother and ultimately didn't. So Rumple reveals that he wants her to use it to kill Cora to save his life. And she's like, I did not use this on my own mother. Do you really expect me to use it on you? And he's like, yeah, I do. Because, you know, this is a situation that is not killing someone to save just your mother. This is killing someone to save everyone that you care about. So, because if Rumple dies, then Cora becomes the Dark One, and they're all fucked.
Snow had a good plan, actually.
I think he manipulated her because, you know, Cora's like, the magic boils off into the air. The Dark One magic. So it would just be
boil off into the air.
Yeah, the dagger would just be a dagger at that point. No more magic.
But as we saw, Cora did make it up to Rumpelstiltskin, and if Regina didn't put the heart into him, then she would have stabbed him.
That's true. Yeah.
Probably, but like here's the thing: Snow had another idea, an alternative idea, where she said, "I could just take the heart, and then control Cora to do the right thing." And then just let you die. And then Rumple pulls out this shit that, like, I don't believe for a second. He's like, well, then, like, Henry's going to be devastated that you killed his grandfather. She didn't kill anybody, bitch. You succumbed to your wounds like you were supposed to.
Yeah.
Who killed you? Sorry, not me.
Yeah, and honestly, Henry wouldn't fucking care. You know, Henry's not really close to you. Yeah,
right now he's not.
You're his grandfather, but he's not.
He gets a little more attached in the future, but...
Yes, but that's
right
not...
now
Yeah.
Which is why I think had Snow gone this plan, things would have been fine.
I don't know though, because Henry's kind of a wild. Because we see how much of a grudge he's holding against Emma for lying about his father, which I know is huge because it's his father. But we don't know exactly where Henry would go from that. We really don't.
Well, Henry hasn't been bonding with Rumple at all.
No, he hasn't, and I think that's why he would be so upset because he didn't have the chance to.
Well, I don't think he even wants to really. Like in the future.
Does.
In the future, Henry attempts to get closer to Rumple, but honestly, Henry ultimately isn't. There's no grandfatherly relationship, and there's not really any relationship that Henry has with Rumple. And I don't even think Rumple. Rumple doesn't even want a relationship.
I can argue that because there's got to be a reason why Grandpa Rumple goes to meet Henry in season 7. So,
I guess.
Well, now there is.
That's what I said in the future.
At this point, right now, Henry and Rumple are not close, and Rumple doesn't even want to be close with Henry.
No, he yelled at Henry. Come on now.
Well, Rumple also thinks Henry's the one that's going to be his undoing. So, there's that going on. So
that definitely comes into play in the much further, not much further, actually, the next episodes.
Which is why, Snow, you're stupid, and you should have gone with your own damn plan, because things might have been okay.
Yep. So,
Snow. You're the purest heart ever. Shut the fuck up.
So Rumple tells Snow that he only has to whisper the name over Cora's heart. It doesn't have to actually be over Cora. The heart will do, but then you have to put the heart back in. So not only does Snow go and do this, she goes to Regina's vault, finds the heart out of 1,000,000 hearts there, just happens to pick the right one when there was no indication that it's actually Cora's, other than it started glowing and beating and just... whatever. Well, there's 1,000,000 hearts in that vault, so...
Cora's stuff was put into Regina's vault. Cora's heart is in a special chest, not like in one of those freaking...
Right, but there were 5 other hearts right next to it.
Okay. I mean, other than...
Well, 5 other cases that may or may not have had hearts in it. I'm kind of assuming that there's other hearts in them.
Maybe the heart starts glowing when the owner's close or nearby, within a certain proximity. We don't know.
Cora was still in the shop.
Like I said, a certain proximity. It could be 20 miles for all we know. We don't know.
So,
I just feel like
because she knew someone was going after her heart. So obviously the heart knew she was there.
Maybe.
They have a deep connection.
I mean,
but
writers leave so much out.
The worst part of all this is not only does Snow go through with Rumple's plan, but then she manipulates Regina into killing her own mother.
So I think we need to stop the hashtag Shady Blue and do the hashtag Shady Snow, because this bitch has done a lot in her time.
Okay, her the initial, I could just make Cora, use her heart to make her do what I want her to do. That was a good plan. And it also, if her speech she gave Regina about, give her back her heart, then maybe she will, think about what she's done and not be the bad person that, she is and stuff like that. That would have probably have happened if she didn't, do the candle thing over her heart. So, I mean, she had good ideas, but there was a thing in the middle you did that was bad.
Well, because here's the problem with Snow, and like when we bring up all the shit that she's done, the problem is that she doesn't trust quote unquote bad guys.
Yeah.
This happened with Maleficent, and it's happening now, where she doesn't want to work it out with the other person. She's like, this is the easy way out, and I'm going to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, it doesn't turn out well for you or anybody else involved. So like now Regina hates you even more.
She lacks the confidence in herself as well. I mean, we see her as Snow, and she's very forward, she's very confident, but like she's still Mary Margaret right now, and she's still
she will always be Mary Margaret, and she will never change.
That was part of her life. She's never going to be able to forget. That ultimately changed her. So she still has this doubt about what she decides she wants to. Like you said, her idea was a good idea.
Well, don't forget, last episode, she's sitting there going, I'm going to kill Cora. So that's already seated in her head,
Mm-hmm. And then Rumpel gives her
a little push.
Another way. Yeah. Exactly. So, like, she's very easily pushed in directions because she doesn't have the confidence in herself.
So whoever gets to her last, that's the plan she's going to.
Basically.
So guys, characters, keep that in mind.
Basically.
I think that if she would have got Cora's heart and gave it to Regina, Regina would have put her heart back into it.
Well, yeah.
And Cora would have been fine. It would have been fine because Cora would have been revolted.
Right, but that doesn't fix the problem that Rumpel seeded into her head about the look on Henry's face when he let the grandfather die. So that's what's eating at her. Whether or not we believe that to be the case, that's still eating at her as a person.
Well, that sounds like a you problem, Mary Margaret.
Exactly.
Okay? Like you're feeling guilty about something you didn't.
But all that did not necessitate her to manipulate Regina and use Henry as leverage. It was just like, yeah, you put this heart back in Cora, and she'll love you, and then you could have a family with Henry. Like, she didn't need to go that far with it,
Well, that's what sold Regina was Henry.
But still.
She knew how to get to her. She knew how to convince her to. Even Rumpel's like, you need to convince Regina to put her heart back in her.
Yeah.
So, so she had to, and that's what she did.
While all this is going on, we have Rumpel makes a phone call to Belle, and he, for the first time I think in his life, and maybe even the last time in his life, because we sure as hell haven't seen it again, he really speaks from the heart. And
what little he has of one.
And he calls Belle, tells her who she really is, makes Belle cry, and hit Emma and Neil, who were standing right in the room with him, right in the feels. Like, right in the fields. You could see Neil was wiping tears away. Emma was choked up. She's not crying. She's just, whatever. But,
yeah.
And then, this is when Rumpel finally is able to give his apology to Neil. Something, that Neil didn't want to hear before. Give the chance and explain, where Rumpel was coming from. But Emma and Neil are sent out into the forest. And this is when Cora approaches with the dagger. And Rumpel says, out of everything, everywhere that we've come, the one thing that I couldn't see, the one thing I don't have any knowledge of that I need to just ask you before you do anything is, did you really love me? And Cora admits that she did. That the whole reason she ripped her heart out in the first place is because of Rumpel.
He is her one weakness.
Yeah. So
that and Regina.
Yep. And then he didn't rip it out because of Regina. He ripped it out way before she had Regina. So it was 100% Rumpel. And then this is when Regina comes in and puts the heart back in her. And all of a sudden she drops the dagger. She's gasping. She's like, "Oh my God, this is all I needed. This would have been enough."
She was smiling. It was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
He's like, she's smiling. I'm like, oh, stop. Just, those people that you see, like, don't smile all the time. And then you see them smile, and you're like, oh, don't do that anymore.
It's like the Jack
I know,
Nicholson smile.
But her smile, like, after she said her line, it felt genuine. Like, before, it felt like it was forced. But, I don't know. When she says to Regina, "You would have been enough," then I feel like that there's, I don't know, something the actress did with her face. I don't know what she did, but it felt like this is a different person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it kind of is. It's it's
she's actually feeling feelings.
I mean, probably like all those feelings got trapped in the heart that she was supposed to feel, and then she got thrown back and all like, woo!
And she's like, "What is this shit?
What's going on? All the feels."
It's like a sugar high. That's why she was smiling.
Right after saying "you would have been enough," she collapses and dies, and Rumpel stands up, and Regina goes, "What did you do?" He goes, "I didn't do anything." As he says that, Snow runs through the door, yelling for Regina to wait, and it's clearly too late.
Like, bitch, of all the times that you have walked in on other people, now this time you gotta be late.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
yeah, she always interrupts people before the good times.
Yeah.
And the good time happened, and then you took it away.
So the episode ends with Regina setting her sights in on Snow and just being like, "You."
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that was a great ending for that episode. And then what is personally my favorite of the two, and it's simply because of the backstory, the flashback segment of this episode, is we get the father and son camping. It's Owen and Kurt Flynn. We get the wind picking up, what they think, some kind of electrical storm with radio interference. But what we know and we see is the curse rolling through the woods. So I remember that way back to the first time I saw this, I was like, wait, what the hell is going on? There's another curse? I wasn't thinking it was a flashback, because they didn't say it on the screen at all at this point that it was a flashback. So it's not until Sheriff Graham steps out of the car that we know something's up.
Bitch, why are you here? Hold
up. And I remember the very first time seeing this, I was just like, isn't he dead? I was really confused. And then it cut to, it said 1983, the day of the curse, and I was just like, oh. Okay, this is a flashback. So we get to see, in the life of Regina exploring the town, Groundhog Day style.
I know, right?
And
it was hilarious.
What I'm curious about now is, this whole time that we've had the curse, are they literally just reliving the one day over and over and over again?
Well, it's not exactly, because if you listen to Marco when he's talking about the sign after like 2 or 3 times of her going through, he's like, maybe this time you'll stay up. So,
and he's using different, he used a hammer, he used a screwdriver. Mary Margaret changed her clothes, what she was carrying was different. It was kind of like the same day, but not at the same time.
I mean, Ruby and Granny's conversation was slightly different every time.
And Ruby's clothes were different.
But that doesn't mean it's not the same day still, though.
They were progressing, but at the same time they weren't.
See, I think what it is to them, and like this is like when we really get into Regina's head of how she's going crazy and why she's so angry all the time. Well, even more angry now, but it's not exactly the same day, but it just feels like the same day, because time for them isn't a thing. They don't have a concept of time.
It's not progressing forward like it should.
I mean,
it's just there.
Yeah, and so I don't think. And also, these people are just so fucking dull and boring at this point in their lives, where they don't. But
well, they don't know. They don't know what's going on.
Regina, it just feels like it's the same day.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Jake's camera went nuts. Oh, he's back. And then so we see Regina showing Snow David and getting satisfaction that they don't recognize, or that Snow doesn't recognize him. And she's seeing Marco put the sign up, Ruby, and it's the same thing day in, day out, and it starts wearing on her. But then she's surprised when she sees Owen and Kurt in the diner, and she kind of feels threatened. Right, and we learned that they were camping over by the toll bridge, and she's in a huge rush to get them back to Jersey. She even went as far as talking to Gus and getting their car fast tracked, getting it fixed. And I was like, oh, I miss Gus. I forgot all about Gus.
You're gonna die. I can see it.
Yeah. Good prediction.
There's going to be part of you here, you're going to be in the car, and you're going to be in a wood chipper at the same time.
So, as Regina's kind of rushing them out, Owen turns and gives Regina a gift, one of the weaved bracelets that him and his father had made.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the one that his father made when he was younger. It looks like one that Owen himself made.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
One that
He was working on it in the beginning of the episode. His dad was showing him how to do it.
Yep. So Regina is getting really bored. Really bored out of her mind. Just keeps showing the same thing over and over and over again. And what's really interesting about that is we know at this time that Rumpel is not under the effects of the curse.
Nah,
so
he's playing it good.
Rumpel's playing it so good that he's walking down the street at the same time every day just to keep up the charade. Like, that's how good
either that or he's lost.
I mean, even Rumpel changed it up every day. Like, there was, I think, a couple of days he looked straight forward. He just walked right past Marco. And there was one day where he looked up and he was like, what the hell is going on? Like, it was interesting.
Yeah. So, Regina ends up going to see Rumpel. She tries to talk to him, and he straight up pretends he has no clue what she's talking about. He's like, Dr. Hopper's office is 3 blocks down the street.
Nobody uses it.
Get going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you want from me. I can't help you. You're the mayor. You should be happy that everybody's doing exactly what you want them to do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking for someone to kind of like defy her and be blunt, and I think that was the attraction with her and Owen, and I'm not saying attraction in a weird way. It's just like the appeal of Owen. He was
a little brat.
Yeah, well, he's blatant. He's blunt.
He's very blunt. Yes, he's forward. Yes,
kids his age are,
but not because of we think he's a spoiled brat.
No,
but it's not because of that.
It's because Regina, though, is so used to everybody giving her exactly what she wants. The minute now that we have anyone who's, like, willing to speak their mind and be like, your lasagna is terrible. Like...
Well, I'm sitting in this seat, sorry.
As true as that may be, and as hurtful as that may be, that is refreshing to Regina.
Yes.
I mean, like, you got fucking Snow and these pleasant-ass people who are...
Well, she even asked Snow, aren't you going to fight back? And she's like, why would I do that? And walked off.
Not only did she have Owen, like, being blunt with her, being like, I'm not getting out of your seat, I'm already here. There was also Kurt, who wasn't enforcing him to move. He was just laughing about it, being like, whatever, like, he's just being Owen. And, you could see her glance at Kurt, like, tell your kid to move, and he's just laughing about it. He doesn't care.
Yeah. You're the mayor? He's in your seat? Oh, well. Owen's just like, I was here first.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm already sitting.
I mean, you clearly don't know that she can, like, fry your head off, but...
Well, she can't, because magic's not there yet.
Well, yeah, but she can still do it without the magic.
She could basically murder you right there in front of the town and nobody's gonna bat an eye.
Which she did.
So she invited them over for dinner, and she bonds with Owen while they're making dessert, and then she asks Kurt to move to Storybrooke. Owen really wants that to happen. Kurt's just like, no, we have a life in Jersey. We're going back.
We can't get
what kind of life can you really have in Jersey?
Yeah, I mean, Owen's mother, passed away. He's upset. The kids at school aren't treating him right. So Storybrooke was really appealing to him.
Yeah. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew
we got
his
a
story.
car to pay off, and like my job.
Yeah, only if you knew that, you wouldn't age if living in Storybrooke. That's not true because Henry aged, but the rest of the town doesn't age.
Yeah, the rest of the town doesn't age. You'll age.
Because they're cursed. Henry wasn't cursed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and they're not cursed either.
Are they?
No,
they're not.
No.
I guess they technically weren't in the town when it came. Oh, yeah.
No, they were. They were in the town. They just weren't. They were in the receiving
yeah.
end of where the curse ended up. They weren't a result of the curse.
If they were in the Enchanted Forest, then yes, they would have been cursed. But no.
Yeah, just because they happen to be where the curse landed does not make them cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then somehow Aladdin was in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. No, Aladdin was. I don't think Agrabah's in a different realm. I'm still saying it's not.
I think it is. Their realms just attached to one another that you don't need a portal to go through, and then he just sort of hopped over to.
Maybe he was doing something.
Right away to the story.
I mean, he was probably on the ass end of not being the savior anymore because whatever. But maybe he was traveling and he just happened to be in the Enchanted Forest at that time.
Yeah, I don't know. He's clearly Agrabah's a different kingdom, but I don't think it's in a different realm. I think the realm is defined by the portal in which you travel to the world. I don't think Agrabah's in a portal. I think it's just another land.
I don't think you need a portal because
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't.
Somehow Ruby and Mulan jumped from Storybrooke and they just walked into Oz. So.
There's all different ways into Oz, though. We know that for sure. You could go through on a tornado. You could take slippers.
Maybe Aladdin took a magic carpet.
Could.
Yeah.
But then Kurt goes in to say goodbye to Regina before leaving, catches Regina talking into Graham's heart to pull him over for drunk driving. So, and then to bring Owen to her. So wow. Kurt kind of freaks out. And is like, Regina's like, it's not what it looks like. I'm like, it's
not what it sounds like.
It's exactly
how it sounds.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
She wants to take your kid from you. That's what it sounds like. And
it was hilarious watching Graham come in. I'm arresting you for drunk driving.
Yeah, pulls him over without him driving. I'm like, what are you doing, Graham?
Kurt's like, I haven't been driving. Just get off me.
But this is how Kurt knew, he was being controlled. He's like, how is she brainwashing you? How is she controlling you? And then when they're rustling over, trying to lock him up or whatever, knocks Graham's heart on the ground. And this is when Graham is like, what is going on? He feels something. So this is enough time that allows Kurt to escape, which leads to a car chase to the border of Storybrooke. And they arrest Kurt. Owen runs to the town line and comes back later with police. And they can't find the town.
You just gotta step forward.
If Owen could have took 2 more steps forward, he would have been touching Regina.
Yes, but I don't know if that would have worked.
I think it would have worked for Owen. I think it would have worked for Owen because he's already been in the town lines. The only reason why he couldn't see, I don't know.
That's something that we need.
I think you can just walk past the town line because Tamara did it. At least at this point, anyway.
At this point, yes.
At
now, present day, yes. But back then, I don't think it did.
And I don't know how this works, really.
Back in 1983, people would have been... If people would have drove that... In 1983, if people would have drove that road, they would have just gone, they're on that road. They wouldn't see anything. It would just be
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they would just keep going, and it would be like what it looked like with no curse.
With no
it's like an alternate pocket, whatever.
Weird.
It'd be like a tunnel.
Right, because otherwise we would have had visitors coming in all the time. The fact that the curse breaks and we have our very first visitor coming into town now, and the fact that we know that little Owen is grown up Greg. And Greg has been searching, trying to get back into Storybrooke for years and years and years, and has never been able to do it until now, when the curse broke.
So what is there, a loop that he does? And he just keeps driving and driving and driving and driving. Like, how the fuck did he meet Tamara if he's been, so obsessed with getting back into this town? I just feel like
there's probably a secret underground.
I think they in one of the episodes they discuss how he met Tamara.
I don't know.
But we know Tamara knows Pinocchio.
The one question, because that's how I fully believe the town line works. But the one question that doesn't answer is how Henry came into the town in the first time.
This is why I think you could just walk over. Because I don't think they can't leave, but I think people can come in.
They can now, but I don't think back then they could.
Because
they would have at least had one other visitor since Greg.
Well, see, I don't think there's actually this town is like not on a map. And
it might also have to do that he shares the blood of people who are cursed in the town.
Whatever.
I know we kind of debunked that a little bit, but I feel like that's the only explanation at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that's a good enough explanation for me.
Yeah.
So
we know at one point Regina crosses the town line to get Henry.
Well, I think she can just leave whenever she wants.
Yeah, probably she can because she cast it.
Mm-hmm.
So in present day, we have Regina mourning the loss of her mother. Rumple comes in to pay his respects, and Regina admits to him that she wants to kill Snow.
What else is new?
Rumple says that it's going to cost her Henry, and she said no. She's going to find a way to get both Vengeance and Henry.
And have it all.
Yep, she wants her cake, and she's going to eat it too. I never understood that saying, because if I have cake, I'm definitely going to eat it. I don't know, but regardless. Snow's lying in bed. She's upset with herself. Henry picks up on it. So Emma has to tell Henry.
No, first they wanted to usher him back upstairs. Oh, just go back upstairs. Don't worry about it.
Right.
They do that a lot.
But
they do.
But after what happened with Neil, she has to tell him the truth. She admits that Snow was partially responsible for Cora's death.
Partially?
She's not lying. I mean, Regina was partially responsible too.
So
whether she was aware of it or not, and Rumple shared some of the blame too. So there was 3 parties involved. So yes, it is accurate, and it is not a lie whatsoever to say that Snow was partially responsible.
It's not a lie, but it's not being honest.
It's not.
There is a difference.
I don't see how it's dishonest.
She didn't tell him the whole story. I mean,
I don't think he needed to hear the whole story right this night.
No, not at that point.
David had this conversation with Rumple earlier in the season.
So Charming tells Rumple that he's the one that has to fix this because he owes Snow a debt for saving her life. So Regina's, meanwhile, she's inside her vault, tearing it apart. She finds a scroll in one of her mother's dresses. And then when Rumple and David go to try to find Regina, Rumple discovers that there's 2 ingredients missing out of Regina's magic potion chest. And that is Chimera's blood and Viper's eye, which those 2 ingredients create the curse of the empty-hearted, which in theory makes someone think that they can fall in love with you. And Emma goes and says, doesn't that break the rules of magic? She re-incites you can't bring people back from the dead, you can't make people fall in love. 2 of the genie rules that we're very familiar from Aladdin with. And Rumple explains, no, it's only like a false
illusion.
Yeah. So Henry's like, she's gonna use it on me. But we find out that Regina needs Snow's heart in order to cast this curse. So they start toying with the idea of whether or not they should kill Regina, and Henry gets really upset with this. So upset to the point where he won't really listen to reason with the rest of them because he doesn't trust them, that Emma drags him to Granny's, in which he reluctantly has a conversation with Neil. Now, Neil seems like everything's up on the up and up. He tries bribing Henry with an ice cream sundae with extra everything, but Henry sees right through that bribe. And he asks Henry to go back to New York with him. So this is so Regina can't cast the curse on him, because magic doesn't work in New York, except for magic poison, which does work in New York. And Henry sneaks off to the bathroom with his backpack and takes off. And Neil gets blindsided that Henry just pulled a him.
I
She's
just
like,
wanna, I
"He's
just want to
our
address
son."
how you were like, well, a magic poison that works in New York. We know that items with magical properties do work
I
in the
know.
world without magic. So
I know.
stop it.
No, I have to. Because
No, you don't.
No, I do, because why wouldn't the potion work on Henry if she went to New York and poured it on him?
It's a curse. This thing curses. Curses for everybody.
That's my point. My point is not that the poison shouldn't have worked. It's that the curse that Regina's casting should be able to work. That's more my point.
Again, magic
more-
works how writers want it to work.
Right.
It's more than just a potion, though. It's an incantation as well.
Hmm.
Because she has the scroll. She has to read the scroll. It not only has the recipe for the potion, but also the magical words that she has to recite.
The potion is part of the curse, just like how with the dark curse they had to conjure up the thingy, drink it, then spit it on the person you want to cast it onto, all that whole,
This curse has layers, and in the world
just
of
like
no magic,
onion.
yes, if you don't have magic, you can't have the curse.
Mm.
The words are magic. If there's no magic, they don't work.
Well, Henry gets the idea now that all magic is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Henry.
And he's
The whole
basically...
convent of fairies down the street.
He decides that he's going to kill magic. He's going to blow it up. He goes
Which-
down to...
That's how that works.
Yeah, he goes.
Yeah.
He goes down to the dwarves, down to their mine, and he steals dynamite.
Who left the dynamite out?
Who?
There was a
I
lock
mean-
on it. He broke the lock.
That's true. But I mean, they don't expect people to go down in the mines.
People go down there they go down there every episode.
They go down
mean-
there and make out.
Right now they're not, because they're working on the bean field, but there's that.
It's the new makeup place.
Yeah, they're a little busy. So Henry decides that he wants to blow the well up. The well that is basically the equivalent of Lake Nostos, which returns lost things. He thinks that blowing the well up is going to stop magic. I don't think that's how that works.
I think that's a catalyst for the magic, but it's not the source of the magic, if that makes sense. I think once magic's in a world, you can't really destroy it. You can't really destroy magic unless the only way you can destroy magic is with magic.
Mm-hmm.
And
funny how that works.
therein lies the problem.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, Henry, he just wants his family to stop fighting. So
Yeah.
Just want everybody to be happy.
Yeah.
Well, on his way to the well, he bumps into Greg. Greg takes notice, calls Regina, who in turn stops Henry.
He was taking pictures of the little kid's backpack. Seriously, dude?
He did. What he did is he took a picture of the tag that was on the backpack.
yeah.
I'm assuming the tag said
That had the
if
phone number
found
and the
return
address.
to his old address with the phone number
Yep.
and all that. So I think that's how he got Regina's number to call her.
Mhm.
So Henry ends up talking Regina down from casting this curse. And she agrees. And when Snow finds out, she goes to talk to Regina. Snow wants Regina to kill her.
And Regina, why didn't you follow through?
She was going to. She ripped Snow's heart out with the intention to crush it. It wasn't until she saw that
Black
Snow's
spot.
heart is darkened.
Oh, her cancer?
Something
This-
that Cora vowed to do to Snow.
Mm-hmm.
And Cora did technically succeed.
Yeah.
So
Well, actually, Cora, was it your doing? I don't know.
I didn't say it was her doing.
Cora caused her heart to darken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
And
it Cora, though? Because I
it
think
wasn't-
If Cora
Well,
didn't
you
die,
know-
her
No.
heart wouldn't be darkened.
Yeah,
Well,
if Snow didn't make the choice to kill Cora to save Rumple,
Snow
her heart
has
wouldn't have
always
darkened.
had. No, her
she's
heart
always
was
had the potential.
No, it was always dark. You saw little bitch Snow before the whole thing, before her mom died, and then the Maleficent's baby. Do we need to bring that up again?
Maleficent's baby, I don't think was enough to darken her heart.
Yes, it was.
I don't think so.
She didn't
She
kill
didn't kill
the
a
baby.
life.
She didn't kill a baby, but she stole a baby.
Yeah, that's not
And
the
sent it somewhere
same.
else away from its mother.
That's not the same at
It was not
all.
the same. She fucking stole a baby.
Right, but that's still not the same as killing someone.
But she stole a baby.
Right, I'm not saying she didn't. I didn't want to
No,
say
it's
she
not, the
didn't
same
do
as,
that.
it's not the same as killing anybody. It's the thing. She stole a fucking baby, and I don't need to say more.
Right.
I mean, I'm not condoning that she stole Maleficent's baby and sent it through a portal, but she did that to save her own child. Wasn't that the case?
Yeah,
It was like a trade?
It was kind of. It was like, see, here's the thing. Emma wasn't gonna die,
No.
but they just said your child has the potential to be dark, just like everybody else, and without you trying again, no, you're taking the easy way out. Instead of bringing her up right, you fucking stole a baby and just thrust upon all of the darkness in the world onto it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think Cora would have vowed to darken her heart if it was already darkened. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is, in fact, the event that darkened her heart for sure. So
I mean,
Cora got her wish in the end.
Snow said herself that I thought... I mean, I think she references it. Yeah, she references it in season 4, and it was after that episode with the damn baby. She says, I thought killing Cora blackened my heart, but that darkness was always there. So, Snow has
always-
It was always there, but it was never awoken.
It was there in Emma, too. You know, they
Oh,
said
yeah, of course it's an Emma.
it's in all of them. It's whatever.
Except for
Everybody
Jake.
has-
It was always there. It just was dormant. It wasn't active. But when she killed Cora, it turned on the light switch.
I also I figure that her using dark magic to do the deed also has some sort of addition to making her heart
Definitely.
darker.
Yeah, and Blue, what are you doing with that candle of yours? Well,
Keeping
it
it
wasn't
safe.
blue.
well, it wasn't blue, but
It's
you know.
Cora.
She's got it now.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, Greg is outside the house while all this is happening. He filmed the whole thing,
Of course you did.
and he gets in the car, and we see him. He vowed to find his dad, and we see the little weaved bracelet keychain thing. It's a keychain in this situation, but it was, I think, a bracelet at one point that is now converted into a keychain.
It was still a keychain.
It was always a
It's only
keychain.
like this long.
Yeah, it was a keychain.
I thought it was a little kid's bracelet.
No, it was a keychain. I used to make those during summer camp.
Yeah, I used
mean,
to have a
you can
bracelet
make
that
them into
looked
bracelet,
exactly
but-
like it.
This one was not. It was just a stumpy, like, little weave.
Leather keychain.
Was it leather or was it hemp? I don't know.
It's hemp.
It looked I don't know. It looked like it was leather to me. Like
One of those keychains
Swedish.
that's supposed to look ethical and exotic, but it's not.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't
It
know.
was the first one he
I had
ever
a
did.
bracelet that looked just like that, so that's why I assumed it was a little kid's bracelet that he outgrew and turned into a keychain.
No.
But Greg filmed the whole thing, and that basically reveals that he's actually Owen from, all the flashbacks this episode, and that's how we leave this.
Did anybody call this before it was revealed when you watched it?
For the very first time, I don't think so.
No,
did.
I
I
didn't
did.
really.
Because I have the sight.
Uh-huh.
But if you had the site, Jake, you would see that the newspaper that Regina was reading was actually dated October 23rd.
I can't hear you.
Of
I'm deaf as
1983, and 23 is one of the lost numbers.
23 is also my birthday, so what? I don't care.
So,
You're a lost reference.
yep, you are a lost reference now, Rachel. Thank you for that information. Now
You're
I
a
can
living
reference
lost reference.
every single podcast here on that.
And you know what?
Part
That
of Lost.
reference was lost to me, so let's move on.
Perfect. So,
Oh, man.
next episode that we will be dealing with is 18 and 19. Episode 18 is Selfless, Brave, and True. This is where we will actually get character backstory from both Tamara and August.
Mhm.
This is where Mary Margaret's really coming to grips with how Cora's death affect her heart. So that's that episode. And then the episode after that is I don't know. I don't remember
the
how I
Lacey
felt
episode.
about this, but yeah, it's Lacey. I don't remember how I felt about this. I it stands out in my mind. So I want to say it's an episode that I really enjoyed, but to be completely honest, I don't remember if I liked it or hated it, and that's why it stood out.
I remember not liking Lacey. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if that has to do with the episode.
It was also like a flashback of when Belle first started, when she was first taken in by Rumpel.
Mm-hmm.
So it showed. I think it's also the Robin Hood episode.
This is the very first time we meet Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
He's got a facelift in there.
He's actually Lucifer now, just so you know.
And I don't know. I just remember there's only one thing I remember from that episode, and that a club was called the Rabbit Hole. And that's the only thing that mattered to me.
And it doesn't. Yeah.
Sure. The Sheriff of Nottingham is in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that pervert.
But that's when Gold decides to go bad boy because Lacey wants a bad boy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's easier for him to just be bad. So
yeah, well, and also this last episode, seeing Greg or Owen, the older Ethan Embry, I can't see him in anything but silly movies because he's all he's ever done. So when he does when he was like, "I'm going to find you, Father," for last thing, and he made that weird face, I was just like. Because it's a face he's made in every movie when he's like, "Oh,"
you're overplaying it. It's like Jim Carrey.
So him playing this kind of serious role is weird for me because he's always in some kind of he was always in some kind of teen flick and being the goofy friend.
Yeah.
So it was really weird seeing him like this.
Mm-hmm.
There was I forget the actor's name. Angus Mcfadden. He has a habit of every time this character is in something, he has a habit of spitting. His character does something involving spitting, and he's actually one of the main characters in Saw 3, and I didn't think he was going to spit, and then he spits at the mirror at one point, and I was just like, are you kidding me? They still worked in that thing into it, but I ended up hearing, I think it was in the director's commentary, that it almost didn't make it into the cut, and they decided last minute, not knowing that it's something he's known for. So that's kind of interesting that sometimes quirks like that don't always make it in, and it's not necessarily the actor's choice, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just
so
it's one of those
face
things.
Is probably,
I see him.
Yeah, it's probably just a little quirk he has that makes his way into things without him even realizing it. It's like Kristen Stewart always biting her lower lip. She's never made a movie where she doesn't bite her lower lip. You can actually go on.
She's never made it. She's never made a movie where she smiles either.
So, you can actually go on YouTube, and there's a compilation of every movie she's been in, and scenes of her biting her lower lip. It's really disturbing.
That's how I want to waste my time.
Yep, that is exactly how you want to waste your time. So, I think we're going to wrap things up there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rachel, how can the people find you?
Yeah. They can find me at Twitter at VikingWitch76 and on Twitch at VikingWitch.
Nikki, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Mr. Sear, I don't even have to ask you. You already know what's coming.
Oh, well, okay, so Monsters, Mayhem, Giggles, Gore, bitch, you know the rest.
Oh, okay. I don't get to dance in my chair this time.
No,
you didn't.
You should have seen that coming.
I'm changing it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll do it. You can find me and all my Giggles and Gore and Monsters and Mayhem here on YouTube at Jacob Salazar, or you can find me on Twitter, tweeting me throughout life at TuneOverland. That's CONOWHERELEND. Join the Noverland Society.
Okay.
And you can find us all on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Until next time, see you guys later. See what I did there, Jake?
Yeah, you didn't even do your outro.
See you guys later.
Mm-hmm. You didn't do your outro.
Yeah, you can't find me.
You're not John Cena.
How does John Cena use the face recognition on the iPhone 10?
He doesn't have the iPhone 10 yet.
No, he tweeted to them.
I
He
don't
asked them that question because they can't see him.